Okay, so usually when we're doing composite functions, the first thing we learned was using two tables. So for example, if we had f of g of 3, the first thing we would do is look at this inside equation. We'd look at the g equation, and we'd look for the 3, which happens to be right here, and we see what it's paired up with, and we see that it's paired up with a 1 here. So we can rewrite f of g of 3 as f of 1, because g of 3, like we saw, is equal to 1. So now we have f of 1, so we go to our f table right here, and we look for the number 1, which is right here, and we want to see what it's pointing to, and it's pointing to a 6. So we know f of 1 equals 6, which means f of g of 3 is also equal to 6. And that's how we use tables. It gets a little more complicated when we don't have tables. So we have a problem that tells us, for example, f of x is equal to x plus 1, and g of x is equal to 2x. And we want to find out what f of g of 3 is. What does that equal? Since we don't have a table, what we're going to have to do is still pretty similar to what we did when we had a table, except instead of tables we use these equations. So again, we look at the inside, and we see that's a g of 3. So instead of going to the g table, which we don't have, we go to the g equation right here. And just like in the table we looked for this number in the table, we're going to plug this number into the g equation. So we're going to plug it in, so we get g of 3 equals, and if we see g of 3, that's an instruction to replace every x in this equation with this number, which is a 3. So that's g of 3 equals 2 times 3. 2 times 3 equals 6, so g of 3 equals 6. And just like over here, when we found g of 3, we then went to the f table, and we rewrote this as f of 1. We're going to do the same thing for the equation. For this equation, we said g of 3 is equal to 6, so we rewrite this guy as f of 6. Now this is an instruction for us to look at the f equation, and every time we see an x in that f equation, we're going to replace it with a 6. So here we see f of 6 is equal to 6 plus 1, because it used to be x plus 1 here, but we're changing that x into a 6. So f of 6 equals 6 plus 1, 6 plus 1 equals 7. And that's our answer to our exit ticket question. Again, just as a recap, first we found out what g of 3 was, and we find g of 3 first because it's inside the parentheses. We replace every x in the g equation with a 3, so we get 2 times 3 equals 6. Then we rewrite f of g of 3 as f of 6. We replace every x in the f equation with a 6. We get 6 plus 1, and we get 7, and that's our answer. Okay.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.